He doesn't rock forward with full leverage. And what happens whenever you don't do that, it takes a lot of velocity and throwing speed off of the ball. So if you're throwing those out routes and you don't step in fully, that gives that defensive back, the cornerback, a split second to either get his hand on the ball or intercept it. And unfortunately, this was a recurring problem from his junior year all the way up to his senior year. And you see it multiple times each game. This is something that he's going to have to work on. Now, the one benefit to his personality is he's as tough as a quarterback as you're ever going to see. So I don't think it's so much he's scared. I don't know. I can't really say what it is, but it's something that's going to have to be fixed because he's going to be playing against a lot faster corners at the NFL level. And he's going to be making a lot more of those out route throws because you just don't see it a lot in college, but you have to do that. You have to stretch out the flats in order to spread out the defense so you can run the ball up the middle. And so he is going to have to change his footwork and be much more disciplined in this area. Now, scheme fit, when they drafted him, they came out and said, C.J. Beathard, he's going to be our third-string quarterback. He's going to be behind Brian Hoyer. He's going to be behind Matt Barkley. We don't know what the plans are. Obviously, whenever you draft a quarterback this high in the third round, you're not drafting a third-string quarterback for the future. That's not what this is. But one thing that this does give us is Kyle Shanahan. Remember, he stood up on the table and said, I need this guy on my team now. I don't even want to wait the 5 picks it's going to take to get our guy. I want to get him now. I do not want to wait till day 3 of the draft to get him on a Saturday morning. I want him now. And so if Kyle Shanahan loves this guy, we have seen what he has done every single place he has been. If you can be successful in Cleveland with Brian Hoyer, who are we to say that C.J. Beathard will not be successful here? Now, hopefully, he sits this year and he just builds. And ideally, long-term, the perfect spot for CJ to be would be our long-term backup because, again, we will address the quarterback position next year guaranteed, whether that's through Kirk Cousins coming over, which I'm hoping for, but the quarterback class next year is lights out. Obviously, Hill coming out of Wyoming, that's my favorite. Mason Rudolph out of Oklahoma State. You've got Rosen right down the street at UCLA. You've got, oh my gosh, the awesome USC quarterback, Denard. There are so many guys that are going to fit this system. And again, it seems like almost everybody that Kyle Shanahan likes at quarterback has played this pro-style system. We've got a couple options with that. And we'll be breaking that down in a future podcast. But right now I want to say the future is bright for San Francisco. We got better with this pick because it gives Kyle Shanahan that project to work with. And hopefully, as I said a while ago, he does not play this year. He sits behind, he learns. Is he going to be a franchise quarterback one day? I don't believe so. I don't think a lot of people would say that he is. But if he is that career backup, again, think about what he did whenever he was in Washington, and they got RG3, they traded up all that capital, and then they picked, sure enough, Kirk Cousins later on in the draft, and we saw what happened. You give a guy a project to Kyle Shanahan, he's going to make them a successful quarterback. So hopefully we'll see that here. Really appreciate the time. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast. Always follow me on Twitter, JL_Chapman, JL_CHAPMAN. Any questions you have for the podcast or anything you want to be talked about or answered, put questions up on there. I'll answer all of them. Look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks a lot. And keep listening to the 49ers Rush podcast. Take care.